For Kentucky basketball, the goal each season is simple: win the national championship. And 7 times under 4 separate coaches, the Wildcats have accomplished that feat. This season, behind the 1-2 combo of Tayshaun Prince and Keith Bogans, Kentucky once again is among the nation's elite, chasing yet another shining moment. Indiana has a proud and storied tradition of its own, capturing 5 national titles, but none since 1987. Head coach Mike Davis, along with star forward Jared Jeffries, are the foundation of a new era of Hoosier hoops, one they hope will lead down the road to the Final Four. We welcome you to CBS's coverage of NCAA basketball on this Saturday afternoon. Today, the long and winding road to the Final Four makes a holiday stop in Indianapolis. Kentucky 6-2 against the Indiana Hoosiers, who are 6-3. Good afternoon, everybody. Vern Lundquist, along with Billy Packer. This is a well-rested Indiana team. They haven't played in a week. Not the same for Kentucky. They had that overtime loss to Duke the other night. How does that play in this game?
Well, in talking to Tubby Smith today, he didn't think it was a good game at all because they lost, but they did play extremely well. And Vern, I think they showed everybody they belong in the upper echelon of college basketball this year. They have a very deep team, and I don't think that'll affect them at all. What they do have is Rashad Caruth, who comes into college basketball as one of the best pure shooters I've seen in a long, long time. Had 14 in the first half against Duke the other night. He's the kind of kid that can put up big points. Expect him in this game early today. Well, that was really a breakout game for Rashad Caruth. 7 of 9 from the field. He shot well in that game. Indiana, I think, has to shoot well to win today. It is amazing for a team like this that basically is a veteran basketball team to play and shoot well in games they win and to shoot horribly in games that they lose. Obviously, particularly early on, because it's not a deep team, they're going to have to shoot well early in this ballgame. Indiana against Kentucky. They first met in 1924. We'll return with the starting lineups from the RCA Dome after this.
CBS Sports coverage of the road to the Final Four is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz, located on the web at MBUSA.com. Beechwood aged Budweiser, with a crisp, clean, and refreshing taste known only to the king of beers. And by Prudential Financial, growing and protecting your wealth.
Roughly 40,000 on hand today, a small town in either Kentucky or Indiana. Tubby Smith in his 5th year as the head coach of the University of Kentucky, and today he will start in the front court. Tayshaun Prince, the All-American. Jules Kamara gets his 2nd start of the season, and at the backcourt, Gerald Fitch, Keith Bogans, and at the point guard, Cliff Hawkins. Mike Davis, in his first full season, had the interim removed from his title last year. 2nd season, actually, as the Indiana head coach. Replacing Bob Knight, Jared Jeffries, and Jeff Newton will start in the front court. And in the backcourt, A.J. Moy gets his first start of the season. Tom Coverdale back in the starting lineup, and they are joined by Dane Fife. 45th game, Kentucky has won 8 of the last 10 games. Last year they met at Freedom Hall in Louisville, and UK shot 69% in that game in winning it handily. And you saw the officiating crew, Ted Hillary, Tom Eads, and Jim Burr. Kamara jumps it with Jeffries, controlled by A.J. Moy, and Indiana has the ball, puts it in the hands of Tom Coverdale.
Nice timing by Jeffries. Followed that ball right up in the air. Almost stole the tap, got away with it.
Coverdale, 2nd leading scorer on this ball club behind Jeffries. Started the first 3. He's got the ball in his hands right now, looks inside. This is Jared Jeffries, guarded by Tayshaun Prince. Little jump, too strong. Ball in the air, still controlled, and now Jeffries up, blocked by Kamara. He had 5 blocks in his first night, Tuesday night, against Duke.
Vern, what Jeffries has to do is to take the ball up much stronger. He is a finesse player, but here's a case that he needed to power that ball to the rim. Kamara, being the great shot blocker, particularly not having to guard Jeffries man-to-man, comes over from the weak side for help.
There's Keith Bogans off the dribble, spin move in the lane, not there, and it's taken out by Coverdale. Gets it from Fife, takes it strong, tries to go back and can't. And it'll be Kentucky ball.
2nd time in this ball game that Indiana showed too much respect for Kentucky's ability to block shots. You've got to take that ball to the hoop and figure that maybe Prince picks up a foul. But Prince with those long arms, you know, listed at 6'9", but he really is a 7-footer because he's got a great wingspan, very agile.
And listed as a power forward, but really adept at coming out and popping the three.
Yeah, take the word power out of there, but he is an outstanding finesse player. We're looking at two of the best finesse forwards in the country right now, going up against each other, and there's Prince getting the first piece of it.
Tayshaun Prince over Jared Jeffries. It's 2-0 Kentucky. Now Coverdale, mentioned he started the first three, sat down after the loss to Marquette, one of the 3 losses for the team. Got back in the starting lineup, and they lost to Southern Illinois. So he has come off the bench in the last couple of games, now in the starting lineup tonight. There's a nice dish.
Fife recognized the block was coming. Good moving without the ball.
And Jeff Luke with 2. It's a 2-2 ball game.
There are those long arms. Prince able to reach out and grab that ball.
And knocked away out of bounds by Jared Jeffries.
And one of the things we see is that so far Indiana, playing basically the 3 guards, have really spread with good spacing, has spread Kentucky out defensively, and therefore they're getting some good dribble penetration. Perfect job.
Gerald Fitch takes it in the lane. A.J. Boyd defending. Bogans gets the offensive board. It's on the floor, traveling.
And if you're going to give any advantage in this matchup of basically both teams playing 2 big men and 3 guards, Bogans and Fife, I'd have to give the advantage on the boards to Bogans. He's much stronger. Had a chance there for an offensive rebound.
Bogans averaging 6 boards per game. Underneath, it's good.
And again, the spacing. Great steal by Coverdale.
Misses the shot. It's in the hands of Cliff Hawkins.
Good job by Coverdale to put that one up in the basket, not worry about the shot block. But good spacing on the part of Indiana so far in this game.
Jeffries goes for the steal. Prince with the dish underneath. Kamara got it.
What I think is going to happen here, but it's going to be interesting to see which coach cracks first. And I think we're going to see Tubby go to the big lineup and say, hey, we lead the nation in rebounding. We're going to go with a power team and see how Indiana matches that up, because Indiana's really matching up very nicely with this 3-guard offense.
There's Fife for the 3. He's really improved his offensive output this year. Asked to shoot more, and he has done so. And Dane Fife for the 3-pointer. Hawkins, foul called, first of the game.
Here we see Fife on the outside shooting the 3. He's always had fine technique. I think it was a matter of in the previous years, Vern, he wasn't looking for the shot. It was always pass first. Unless you have confidence with that 3 to just put it up and not worry about it. This year he's shooting 40%.
And you see the improvement in his offensive numbers this season over the previous 2.
Now you're looking at a 27% 3-point shooter. Now that kind of player is the kind of guy that should have horrible technique and take bad shots at the wrong time. But that has never been his problem. He's had good technique. He is a guy that takes proper shots, so he just didn't have the confidence in the shot.
Cliff Hawkins for Kentucky gets 1 of 2 at the line.
Nice full court pressure. Nobody coming back to help from the big men.
Coverdale guarded by Hawkins. Pleads for a call and doesn't get it. Coverdale in the lane. Dishes right side to A.J. Moy.
Nice
Taken
play.
away by Hawkins.
Good play by Hawkins to recognize where that pass is probably going to go, having been beaten off the dribble.
And here is Fitch in the lane, and he draws the foul. Will go to the line.
Well, I am waiting for a substitution from Kentucky coming in with another big guy. Probably be Estill, maybe even Stone in a game like this. Stone has played well against Indiana in the past, and both of those guys come in and change the complexion of the game immediately.
And again, Kentucky misses at the line. Marquise Estill had started the last couple of games. He was late for the shoot-around Tuesday against Duke, and so Kamara got the start and played well, almost had a triple-double.
I don't think he'll be late again, do you?
No, I don't think so.
See, Fitch hitting that shot. Last year, his first start came against this Indiana club, and it's hard to get him out of the lineup since. He's a good overall ball player.
A.J. Moore, no, front rim. Jeffries with an offensive board to Coverdale for 3. Prince chases it down for Kentucky.
And a key for the game, as we point out at the top of the show, Indiana has got to make those shots because they're not going to get the glass.
Hawkins for 3. And he shot it over Dane Fife.
Hawkins, a young man that had a great game on CBS last year against the University of North Carolina, but due to his asthma condition was never able to give the time in either practice or in the game to get consistent minutes. He's doing a lot better with that now with the illness, and obviously playing a lot of minutes and very effectively.
Loose ball controlled by Moy for Indiana, then taken away by Hawkins. and it's Hawkins who draws the foul. Here are a couple of young men who were Mr. Basketball in Georgia and one of the finalists. The title was won by A.J. Moy from Atlanta.
Over Fitch.
Fitch of Gerald Fitch. It wasn't Hawkins.
No.
Hawkins from Virginia.
Here we see the substitutions coming, and Tubby's not agreeing with me at all. And of course, he knows how to coach his team a lot better than I do. He comes small instead of big, and that really surprises me. Looks like he's wanting to match up with Indiana, as opposed to making Indiana match up where he has the strength, and that's depth in the front court.
Here's Hornsby off the bench, off the front iron, tipped.
Nice.
Nice job by Fife. Jeffries is there. They can't get the ball to fall. Another offensive board, and traveling called on Jeff Newton.
Wow, I thought that was a tough call. Newton really didn't have that ball in his hands. Gets called for the travel, but he did the right thing. He powered to the basket.
Time called. First time out of the game. Kentucky leads by 2. For complete NCAA hoops coverage and all you'll need to know throughout the basketball season, go to cbs.sportsline.com or America Online, keyword CBS Sportsline. Shooting percentages, Indiana, a drought, 3 of 11 overall.
Well, Vern, they are attacking the glass very well, but it is amazing when this basketball team does not shoot well from the outside, shooting 16.9% in their losses, and they're on target to do that if they don't start hitting some shots.
J.P. Blevins on the floor for Kentucky, one of the senior co-captains. And Rashad Caruth, the freshman. There's a steal by Coverdale from Blevins.
Very bad pass.
Coverdale, guarded by Blevins, tries to kick it back outside, gets it in the hands of Hornsby, who turns it over to Dane Fife. Now the set offense in the half court. Here comes Indiana trailing by 2. Alley-oop.
Nice going on the switch. Good recognition by Newton to see the switch taking place. Bogans gets stuck down there on Jeffries, and for the second time today, they go right over the top. You know, it's kind of amazing to me, Vern. I'm looking at two guys standing side by side. Jeffries is about 2 inches taller than Prince. I never would have believed that.
Jeffries listed as 6'9", and so also is Prince. Now Kamara gets a rest, and Marquise Estel comes on the floor for the first time, number 50. So it's big man for big man. Back to Coverdale.
Kentucky really confused. Some of the guys were playing zone out of bounds, some man-to-man. I think it confused Indiana a little bit, too.
Good open look for Coverdale, but again, it will not go for Indiana. Saved by Jeffries.
Well, Indiana doing a great job on the offensive glass, and that's why I think Kentucky is going to go big here pretty soon.
And this is a Kentucky team that currently leads the NCAA in rebounding difference. Almost 14 per game. From the corner, again, nothing there this time. Prince for Kentucky.
These are really good looks. Indiana has 7 offensive rebounds, which is somewhat negating his poor shooting. But they're in a position with these good looks to have some kind of a lead here.
Bogans in the lane, up and in. And the lead is 4. Excuse me.
Bogans really an advantage with that strength on the drive. And if he recognizes that, maybe he can break out of what's been a little bit of a funk for him.
A 7-0 Kentucky run. There's the empty pass. Jeffries goes into the lane, finds Jeff Newton. Another open look and another miss.
Yep.
On the floor, loose ball.
Hornsby, good hustle on his part. Another offensive rebound opportunity for Indiana. They lose this one because the arrow's going the other way.
Substitution, Kentucky.
Well, for the season, you see Kentucky with nearly a 14 rebound edge. And against Duke, they were up 17. They're down by 2 in the early going here.
That was reminiscent of the outstanding Michigan State teams that we've seen in recent years, where you just can't win if you're playing against a guy that out-rebounds you by almost 14 rebounds a game, unless you do a couple of things. Handle the ball extremely well and make some outside shots, and that's what Indiana has to do and hasn't been doing so far.
Now Donald Perry comes in for Coverdale at the point. He wears number 12. And George Leach is also on the floor now for Indiana. He had started up until today.
Good shot blocker is Leach.
And there was Leach, and Estel goes over him for 2.
It's amazing how efficient offensively Estel is. He has a lot of games where you see him go like 7 for 9 or 9 for 11. Broke out last year against the University of North Carolina. He's really gotten himself in shape since high school, and very efficient player.
Leach, Jared can't control it. Gets it back and kicks it outside. There it is. Dane Fife, his second three of the ball game. That ends a 9-0 Kentucky run. Now J.P. Blevins off the dribble. Jeffries gives away and then clears the missed shot.
Kentucky giving off a lot of good looks when that ball goes inside, trying to close down Jeffries. And he's been hitting to the outside. Fife had 6 threes for his all-time high against Alaska Anchorage this year. See, when the ball goes inside, there's 3 men around Jeffries in there.
Leach can't control the free rebound, and the putback not there. Here comes J.P. Blevins.
It's amazing what Indiana's doing on the offensive glass. I mean, that should have been 2.
Now Leach calls for it. Kick left side. This is Eric Daniels, number 14.
Personal foul, number 32.
Now let's go back to the previous possession, Bill.
Well, look at what happens. 3 men around Jeffries when it goes on the inside. That gives him the opportunity to kick on out. Fife hits the 3.
13-10 at the 12-20 mark. First half of play. Tayshaun Prince, quiet thus far. Estel back outside, loose. Hornsby goes for it, gets it. For Indiana all the way. Rejected by Tayshaun Prince. Leach, here's Jeffries. Prince is on him.
Takes it right back hard to the hoop. Nice play. Prince asking to come out. He's a little tired right now. Tubby recognized it. But there's where you take the ball to the basket, make the shot blocker play it, and then follow up for the second shot.
Now J.P. Blevins finds Estel, and George Leach guards him. On the floor, Dane Fife, aggressive, but he throws it to the wrong man.
Well, Vern, we were all wondering if Duke had taken something out of this Kentucky team, and it really looks like they had. The guys are not playing with the fresh legs that they had in the Meadowlands.
There's Jeffries. Prince gets over to him.
Not a good shot.
Another miss. Estel with the rebound. Nearing the midway point of the first half of play. 1-point Kentucky lead.
And one of the things I've always admired the way Tubby coaches his team. When he has depth, he plays the first half to get to the second half, and by then he knows the lineup that he wants in the game. So look at all the rotations he's got. He's got 3 guys ready to come in on the sidelines right now.
Caruth saves it off the Prince miss. Nice pass. And a missed shot.
Blevins thought he was fouled. Probably was.
Here comes Donald Perry. And there is George Leach.
Right. Take that ball to the hoop. Prince is really tired. He wanted out, but Tubby couldn't get him out of the game. Indiana right now being much more aggressive than is Kentucky.
And despite horrid shooting, their work on the offensive boards has propelled them into the lead.
And now, heroes of our game, presented by Knights of Columbus.
My hero is definitely my mother. At an early age, you know, she instilled a spiritual background in me, and that's been able to help me in this job. This is a very tough job, and last year so much was going on, and I was able to fall back on my spiritual side to help me get through it.
And there's Mom, Vandella Davis, looking on. Her son, Mike. 21 wins as the interim coach last year. Second most by a first-year coach in the country.
And the most ever by an Indiana first-year coach. Somebody said, well, how about, what did Knight do? Knight won 17 his first year. Of course, in his third year, he won the national. He got to the Final Four, so that's something kind of tough to do.
Foul is going to be called on Indiana. And Eric Daniels, the sophomore from Cincinnati.
Now, I mentioned about how Tubby plays the first half to get to the second. Look at that lineup out there. Man, who would have ever figured at this time in the game with the score 14-13, you've got to be a confident coach to do this kind of stuff. You have a lineup out there that you would never envision early in this game.
Time called. Doubleheader for you tomorrow on CBS, the NFL. We've got 5 games in the early slot beginning at 1 o'clock, and then Cleveland to Green Bay in the second game. For more, go to NFL.com, America Online, keyword NFL.com. It begins with the NFL today at 12 noon. Well, Merry Christmas to you.
Vern, there's something very unusual over here in the Kentucky bench. Tayshaun Prince is laying down on the floor. He's either cramping up. They were working on him. It looks like it's his lower back. But he looks like he is in some pain, having some spasms right now.
Maybe more than just out of breath in the last couple of possessions.
Yeah, well, he asked to come out, and Tubby was going to try to get him out without calling a timeout. Nice pass.
Sure was. Hawkins finds Estel.
Estel has great hands on the inside. Very efficient.
Kentucky back on top by 1 with 10 to go in the first half of play.
And so far, the Indiana backcourt players have been able to, with spacing and patience, spread everything out against Kentucky, taking away some of Kentucky's athleticism that's superior to theirs.
There's Dane Fife off the dribble. Daniels knocks it out of bounds in a moment ago.
Here we see a great pass to Hawkins. Now look at those hands. In traffic, under control. He's, as I said, the word efficiency really works well for him.
With Hawkins, a sophomore point guard. From the corner, Coverdale, nope. And Chuck Hayes, who's on the floor now for Kentucky, number 44, clears the rebound. Bogan's back on the floor, can't get it.
That's an important shot for Bogans. He's got to regain some confidence from the outside.
Gets it from the inside, however, on the follow. See, the Marquette got knocked off today by Wisconsin, so another unbeaten team goes down. Oklahoma State with a huge comeback today against Arkansas.
It really was. I thought the game actually was not played at Arkansas. Somewhat of a neutral site, but still I thought that the way that they were down, it'd be tough for them to come back. Mississippi State got knocked out of those ranks. Cincinnati playing extremely well. The whole Conference USA is making a mark throughout the country.
And, of course, speaking of Conference USA, next Saturday, Louisville at Kentucky on CBS.
Big win against Tennessee by Louisville the other night. Tremendous comeback. It looked like all was gone, but you know Rick Pitino is going to have his guys confident to take the three, even though they weren't making them. They made them down the stretch.
Senior Jared Odell gets the first of 2 off the bench. Wednesday on CBS, join President Bush and the world's biggest stars when America pays tribute to Jack Nicholson, Julie Andrews, and more. Don't miss the Kennedy Center Honors Wednesday on CBS.
Odell had 8 big points against Kentucky last year in the loss.
And he's going to give way now to George Leach, number 5, back on the floor for Indiana.
Stone in the game now to see Kentucky, as Tubby does, looking at all his players to see what's going to be that lineup in the second half.
Loose ball, Marvin Stone, the junior from Huntsville, Alabama, gets the return pass. In the lane, up and under, traveled. He has really been an enigma, hasn't he, Bill?
He really has. He was one of the most highly recruited players in the country coming in. Remember about this time last year, a lot of talk about him leaving Kentucky and transferring. He stuck it out. He does have a lot of ability. He's had a hard time focusing in, becoming the player that everybody thought he would be.
Marvin Stone, Estel, Kamara, the 3 big men in the rotation. What a steal by Hawkins. Jeffries gets back. Hawkins dishes it backwards. Hayes has 2. And a 4-point Kentucky lead. Saw the graphic. The terrible shooting continues. 27% now for Indiana.
Harry has to learn not to challenge a guy like Hawkins, who has superior quickness.
Jeffries with the dish, and a foul called on Marvin Stone.
Here's what I'm talking about right here. Perry, the freshman, trying to challenge a man with superior quickness, just turns it over. And if you're not shooting from the outside, Vern, and you're giving up points that the defense creates, you're in some serious trouble. So Kentucky in a position to make a run here.
George Leach, sophomore from Charlotte, gets the first. Now Tayshaun Prince back on the floor for Kentucky.
Leach was 7 blocks against both Texas and Miami this year. Almost had a triple-double against Miami in a game that was one of those that Indiana played very poorly. Had 10 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 blocks. Pretty good numbers for a sub. And you'd have to say he's kind of like a secondary starter with his team, though. You know what I mean? He really rotates on the inside with Newton. Now Indiana actually goes big for the first time. Newton, Leach, and Jeffries in the game at the same time. Let's see if they can take advantage of some rebounding.
Bogans with the offensive board off the missed shot, and a Kentucky foul.
This is what I thought Kentucky would do to Indiana. Go big and change the way the game is being played. Nice move by Mike Davis here to see how Kentucky will match up.
So Newton and Leach, along with Jeffries, the tall ones.
You see what's happening here on the switch now. Jeffries has got Bogans. They ought to be patient enough to get Jeffries inside. Takes a shot too quickly.
Jeff Newton with the miss. And a foul on Indiana. Gets Mike Davis off the bench.
Vern, you see that now. You've got three big guys playing in the game. Bogans is the guy that's out of place. Indiana's got to be patient, take advantage of it.
Time called, a 2-point Kentucky lead. 2-point Kentucky lead, 19-17. They're shooting 47%. Indiana, a horrid 26%, but offensive rebounds 8-5, and I guess that's rather obviously what's kept them within 2.
Well, Vern, you would have expected potentially, because Indiana has done it in the past. 1 for 15 against Miami from threes would be an example. 4 for 20 against Marquette. But you never would have expected Indiana to be handling Kentucky on the boards like they have, and that's the only thing that's kept this game close.
Tayshaun Prince, a report from the Kentucky bench is that he had just a minor back problem, just stretching it out, and so he is in no pain as he's back on the floor.
Back on the floor, gets a back screen from Daniels. Bad timing on the play, was looking for a lob.
And Jeffries back on him defensively. Here's Fitch, Kamara out of the timeout. Daniels back on the floor with Prince and Cliff Hawkins. Jules Kamara sat out last year, a violation of the alcohol policy at Kentucky. So that counted as a redshirt season for Kamara, back on and starting his second game today. Young man from Senegal.
Jeffries doing a nice job getting out on Prince so he can't get that patented outside shot down.
Hawkins, quick move. Oh, nice play.
How about the way he sat down on the inside, knowing he had actually two, Newton and Leach, both there, good shot blockers, and got it off anyway.
6 points for Cliff Hawkins, a 4-point Kentucky lead.
That was a smart play. There's that spacing again by Indiana. They've done a real nice job with that in the first half.
Now Jeffries comes left, gets the kick pass, takes it strong to the basket, gets it, and will go to the free throw line.
Good job by Leach to set the screen inside to provide that pass. I honestly thought Coverdale probably should have taken the outside shot. Good job by Leach. Won't show up on the scoreboard, but he was as valuable on that play as was Jeffries, who makes it. Now watch the block out. See the block out on the inside? Good job, and it prevented Kamara from being able to get there.
And Jared Jeffries, the sophomore from Bloomington. This is the chance.
Freshman of the year, of course, in Big Ten last year. Nice pass by Hawkins.
Daniels can't quite get it to go, but the putback is good. And another fine pass from Cliff Hawkins.
Well, Hawkins can get that ball and advance it up the court. His teammates are not moving as quickly as they should be today, as he can really force the tempo.
Coverdale. Newton guarded by Daniels, brings it back outside. There's the double team from Hawkins. Skip pass into the corner. Fife, fall away jumper, no.
Boy, Vern, on that skip pass, you have got to be ready to shoot the jump shot. That's the reason it's over there, because there was a double team. See Hawkins, good hit ahead. Excellent timing. And Kamara right there for the tap in.
23-19, under 6 to go in the first half of play.
Indiana dropping back in his zone.
There's another dish from Hawkins, and the basket is good from Daniels.
Just as we saw on the other end of the floor when Kentucky in an out-of-bounds play, some of the guys didn't realize if they were zone man-to-man. The same thing happened to Indiana there. They called the zone, but not everybody realized it. Odell Leach out.
Jeffries with the foul, his second, and Eric Daniels goes to the free throw line.
Daniels, of course, came on the scene last year, made 20 of his first 23 shots as a college player, then obviously cooled off from that. Good steal by Kamara.
Here's Daniels in the hands of Cliff Hawkins.
Well, Hawkins looking up ahead, trying to hit somebody early with the pass. Great crossover dribble.
Beauty.
Too much quickness for Fife. And Hawkins right now has taken over the game, much as he did against Duke University.
And a quick timeout called by Indiana. 5:27 to go first half. Kentucky with its biggest lead. (27-19) with 5:27 to go in the first half. It's been the point guard here in the last 3 or 4 minutes, Cliff Hawkins, who now has 8 points, 3 assists.
On Coverdale, if I were an Indiana player, I keep it out of the hands of the man that Hawkins is guarding. Let somebody else handle the ball and just clear it out. He's got a quickness advantage over anybody that Indiana puts in the backcourt.
And you see Indiana now hitting only 28%. There's a spin move, and a foul is going to be called.
Going to be Coverdale going to the line, and the guy you want on the line if you're Indiana. He's only missed one all year. Had a great run.
Next Saturday, see the All-American icon known as Bear through the eyes of Joe Namath, Ken Stabler, Bo Jackson, Ara Parsegian, and more on The Legend of Coach Paul Bryant, a CBS Sports special. Tom Coverdale hit his first 27 free throws of the season, missed his last against Miami a week ago. He is now 27 of 29 after that make, and he shoots one more.
Well, he'll have to be making a lot of free throws to beat the guy that holds all the records at Indiana, Steve Alford. In his career, Vern, 535 of 596, right at 90% for his career.
That's not bad.
And got to the line often.
Here's Caruth with the jumper off the front rim, but he will go to the free throw line.
Caruth would rather shoot from the stand still on a spot-up jumper than off the dribble. But there he shows he has that in his arsenal.
Rayshon Caruth, who played at Oak Hill Academy in Mount Wilson, Virginia, as did his teammate on the floor, Cliff Hawkins, the year before, last year. That school, which has produced so many collegians, was undefeated 33-0.
Hawkins and Kamara were teammates at one time as well. Hawkins is the all-time assist leader there at 400 assists one year. Jeff McGinnis was a guard there. The first real big-time guard I remember there was Rod Strickland, obviously a great ball handler. So you know what Hawkins has going for him if he can match up with those guys and exceed them.
Coverdale into the lane for Odell, and that sets Perry up, but he's not a proficient shooter, hasn't been this year. Does take the ball away and gets it back outside.
Takes it away from Estolaz. Great hands. Again, Indiana getting open looks. Cannot bury the shots. Mike Davis just has to be so frustrated there because he's running his offense nicely. Guys just aren't hitting shots that they have.
First, the team's 8th.
Foul is called on A.J. Moore. Now Donald Perry, the freshman point guard, with the steal.
Bernie makes the steal after not hitting a wide-open shot, so give him credit for the hustle. But if you're an Indiana faithful, you have to look at this team and say somewhere we've got to get some guys to bury some jump shots. Particularly a team now that Tubby's starting to match up with what he wants on the floor. The rebounding advantage that Indiana did have is not going to last long.
Marquise Esther, now pressure, and here's Coverdale.
Nice full-court trapping.
Hands of A.J. Moy.
Good job by Esther to go out and take away that jump shot. And Kentucky comes out of the trapping, right back to their man-to-man.
There's Moy back to Coverdale. And thrown away.
Boy, what we're seeing right now is the athleticism and quickness of the Kentucky guards taking away a lot that Indiana would like to do. Indiana cannot break down anybody off the dribble.
And Billy talked about it at the beginning of the program. Shooting woes in losses thus far in the 3 games they've lost. And they are hitting 7 of 27, Indiana that is, in the ball game. Here's Caruth. A 9-point margin. Under 4 to go first half.
I think Hawkins wants to take Perry outside here on the dribble.
Got it.
He just took that challenge, and Perry picked him up a long way from the basket. And Hawkins made him pay.
Cliff Hawkins, 4 of 5 and 11 points. Averaging 7 per game on the season.
You notice how Indiana has gotten away from going inside. With Jeffries out of the ball game right now, they don't have the same confidence to get it down inside.
Odell, strong move and gets one.
Estel not having a good half in regard to his defense. Good hedge move by Odell, and then hustles to get back inside.
Tayshaun Prince, nice soft jumper.
Oh,
hello.
About a foot and a half above the rim on that one.
Yes, he was.
With those 7-foot arms. Estel goes down. Stone will come in from him, and Tubby does not like what he's seeing out of Estel today.
Well, this game has gone from 19-17 out of a break to 35-23. A 12-point margin now with 2:35 to go. And another steal. That's 8 Indiana turnovers.
I don't think Mike Davis, even with 2:28, can afford to keep Jeffries on that bench much longer. He's really got to have an offensive post-up threat.
Hawkins with the dish. There's Prince with a spot-up three. A rare miss with that good a look.
Well, he just blew North Carolina away with 5 straight threes in that ball game to open up a nice margin for Kentucky.
Nice margin here. The lead is 12.
Well, the SEC Player of the Year is a guy you've got to respect, so you got to go out to stop that long shot. Now he goes in for that little half hook of his. Nobody blocks him out as Newton runs right on by, and Prince finishes way above the rim.
Started 11 as a freshman out of Compton, California, then became a full-time starter as a sophomore. And you see the offensive improvement. He's averaging 18.5 points per game this his senior season. Oh, hello.
Really good eye contact look that time. Hawkins to Prince. Hawkins having a great first half.
What a beauty. That's 4 assists for Hawkins. And Tayshaun Prince with the backward slam.
Really important for Indiana to keep their composure here, and they look like they're very nervous. Oh, Loy saves him with a good 2.
Let's take another view of this pass to Hawkins and then the dunk by Prince.
Perfect pass, right on target. Prince showing a lot more strength than he's given credit for. You know, I think back when you look at guys that have certain physiques, and no matter how much they eat or how many weights they lift, they stay the same. People say, well, the guy's not strong enough to do this or that. A guy named Reggie Miller. That's who he reminds me of. You know, he turned out to be all right. There's Caruth getting his first open look with that spot-up jumper of his. A lot of confidence.
And the lead is 15. And 90 seconds to go.
15 and climbing. Mike Davis with 2 fouls on Jeffries. Wanted to try to hold him out in the first half. But that is a calculated move that I don't think this team's talented enough to take. They had no inside game when he sat down to go to, and now the guards are feeling the pressure having to score.
Hornsby has an answer for the moment. Singular at the half coming up with Jim Nance. That's 80 seconds away. Scores and highlights from around the country. The crossover dribble. Hawkins, then the fall-away jumper. Ill-advised.
Well, if you want to say anything about Hawkins, and he's had a great first half, just as he had a great game against Duke, then he tries to maybe do too many things. And there's a fine line between saying, you know, calm down a little bit here, and then yet still push the ball up the floor. And I thought the other night against Duke, a great game he played, but at the end, he just tried to do too much when he's got good teammates.
Donald Perry puts it in the hands of Kyle Hornsby. Under a minute to go.
Notice the guards for Indiana have a hard time off the dribble beating somebody. Nice give and go that time. Good screen by Odell. Solid game as he had against Kentucky last year.
Odell with 5 points off the bench. .40-30. On the line. Kentucky turnover, Indiana with a chance to cut 2 more off the lead.
Well, they'd be smart to hold it for 1 shot here and try to go in at halftime under 10. Good job defensively. Probably not a wise pass to throw it down the corner with nothing there. Caruth gets it out of bounds.
7 Kentucky turnovers.
Now, who do you want to set up? Hornsby had a nice looking jumper from the outside. Probably keep the ball out of Perry's hands too because he's got Hawkins on him.
There's the entry pass to Odell.
Good look, but it didn't look like Indiana was thinking about taking any time off the clock at all. I really think when you're down 10, you're playing against a team that's had a superior first half. You want to hang on to that ball. The fewer attempts that are made, the better off Indiana is.
Oh, that was a quick foul on number 4, Gerald Fitch for Kentucky, whose name we have not called much here in the first half. And Jared Odell will go to the free throw line.
Gets all kinds of bounces and gets it to go. Indiana shooting 72% from the foul line as a team. Is very good.
Next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular, Olympians, Ironmen, mountain bikers, and triathletes from around the globe take on Mother Nature at the Xterra World Championship. That's next week. And a couple of bounces on the second shot as well.
Now they get it from 15 down to 8, but they still leave 20 seconds on the clock.
7 unanswered for the Hoosiers. Now Prince back in the hands of Cliff Hawkins.
Nice job by Tayshaun. He wanted to use the clock properly to get the last shot.
Trap from Newton, leaves Hawkins, air ball.
Good job by Indiana to come back. Kentucky had a chance to put them away, Vern.
7 unanswered to end the first half of play. That's the end of the first half with our score 40-32, Kentucky with the lead. Now we go back to Jim Nance for Singular at the half.
All right, thank you, Vern and Billy. Coming up next, Singular at the half. We'll get you up to date on all the scores, not only college basketball, but the NFL scores and highlights as well. Right after this message and a word from your local station.
Singular at the half. Sponsored by Singular, the wireless company dedicated to helping you express yourself.
And hello, my friends. Jim Nance here. Welcome to Singular at the half. Our score after 20 minutes of play in Indianapolis. That 7-0 run by the Hoosiers cuts it to an 8-point deficit at halftime. Well, let's rev up the tape machines. Here we go, baby. North Dakota hosts Kansas today. Third-ranked Jayhawks giving guard Jeff Boschee a game in his home state. But here it's North Dakota early on the dunk. Robert Lohler and Beasley double teaming there. But Boschee coming home. He's from Valley City. And he had 23 for the Jayhawks. Nick Collison dunking here. Kansas has won 9 straight games since an opening loss to Ball State out at the Maui Classic. The Privateers of New Orleans come into Gainesville to take on the Gators, and Billy Donovan's team has now won 6 straight games by an average of about 27 a game. Udonis Haslem on the inside. Nelson then to David Lee for 2 more. And watch the freshman Lee give it up inside. Haslem for 2 more. Gators 9-1. Oklahoma State, though, 12-0 for the first time in 10 seasons, winning at Arkansas. The Razorbacks blew a huge first half lead at home. J.J. Sullinger hits a 3. The Backs were up 30-10. In fact, one time 22-point lead. Frederick Zinzan hits the 3 from beyond the arc. After trailing all game long, they started to pull away. There was Victor Williams on the lay-in. How about the Cowboys, 12-0 in the season? Marquette suffers its first loss of the year. Wisconsin, Bo Ryan's team wins it. Marquette had last opened 11-0 in 1973. We're trying to match that today. They fall short by 13 to the Badgers. Seton Hall at Michigan State. Tom Izzo's team, for the 49th straight game, holds an opponent under 50% from the field. There's Aloysius Anaganya with the jam for the Spartans and a 9-point lead. Andre Barrett had a career high for the Pirates, 24. But Izzo's team, Marcus Taylor drives the lane. Pirates defense pressures him, but he finds Kelvin Torbett on the baseline. And Michigan State, we saw him last week with an impressive win over Arizona. 4-point victory today over Seton Hall. UCLA 2-0 in the conference. Washington State opening Pac-10 play with a loss at home, even though the Cougars led by 8 at halftime. Washington State's Marcus Moore slams it home. Cougars, that was first half action. Second half, though, Dan Gadzurik slams it home, ties it at 63. Capono drives in, gets the layup and the foul, putting the Bruins up 75-71. UCLA sweeps the state of Washington. Got the Huskies a couple days ago. Now the Cougars, 79-74. Wake Forest here in New York taking on St. John's. Guess who was there? He's always there. The Hall of Famer, Louis Carnesecca. Early in the second half, guard Darius Sangalia misses the layup, but Josh Howard gets the rebound, hits the jam. 3-point Demon Deacon lead. It was Marcus Hatton's day, though. Hits the jumper right there. And then later on, Hatton goes for the 3, extending the lead to 8. Hatton had 26 points, 21 of them coming in the second half, and the Red Storms now 8-2 on the season. Ball State, which caused such a stir out there in Maui. I mentioned they'd beaten Kansas out there. Well, 14-point win today over Indiana State. Had also beaten UCLA out there. That tournament, a month to go. There's the outside jumper. Patrick Jackson gets the ball outside, connects on the 3. And then Theron Smith gets the ball down low on the blocks, connects the turnaround. Cardinals lead the Sycamores at that point by 11, going to win it by 14. Ball State, Tim Buckley's team, 7-3 on the season. West Virginia, poor Tennessee, losing on a late 3 for the second straight week. Marcus Hayslip knocks down the jumper to give the Vols the lead with under 20 seconds remaining in regulation. West Virginia guard Jonathan Hargett comes back, though. Big performance he had today. Hargett had 20 points, the freshman. Winning 3 it would turn out to be, because this misfire close but doesn't drop. And it was Louisville last week who beat Tennessee on a late 3. West Virginia now. West Virginia Mountaineers 7-2. Huge road win for them today. East Tennessee State, Buccaneers, Vanderbilt, the Commodores, Kevin Stallings' team, a 9-point win there, 9-3 on the year. LaSalle's Rasul Butler over 30 for the 4th straight game. He had 37 in this victory over the Blazers of UAB. And DePaul, 2-point win over Temple. The Owls, a Final 8 team a year ago, falling to 3-7, and now has lost 6 straight. Northwestern and Fordham, and how about this? The Rams, Bob Hill, win against a Big Ten opponent. 63-60, Fordham, the victor. A reminder, the road to the Final Four continues on CBS 1 week from today, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Some are saying this could be the game of the regular season in college basketball. Yes, Rick Pitino coming into Kentucky, coming in the Rupp, taking on the Wildcats. Or some of you will see Georgetown against UCLA. That's huge action on the road to the Final Four next Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Singular celebrates the self-expression of college basketball fans everywhere as you look at some young Kentucky Wildcat fans. For more, go to cbs.sportsline.com. America Online users simply enter the keyword CBS Sportsline. In the NFL, the Eagles are playing the 49ers in 9 minutes to go in the first half, and only an Akers field goal. That's all that's on the board right now. Eagles undefeated on the road this year, trying to win the NFC East with a victory today. That would seal it. Earlier today, the Dolphins fell for the 2nd straight time on the road. Patriots, 5 straight wins. They didn't need to bring out the snow removal equipment today, as they had 19 years ago when these two met at Foxborough Stadium. Antoine Smith, a career-high 156, and that touchdown. Tom Brady threw this one touchdown pass to Patrick pass. Opened up a 14-0 lead. And then when the Dolphins were trying to rally late, trying to get in there, as Bob Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, looking on, this stemmed the comeback to Bucky Jones, forced the fumble of Lamar Smith. And New England, some thought this would be their last home game ever at Foxborough Stadium. It now looks like they may host a first-round playoff game. Armand Katayan was there with Antoine Smith.
Now you're in a place a lot of people didn't think you'd be at this time of the season, in the driver's seat going into the playoffs. Your thoughts about that?
Right now we're in a position that we want to be in. We have to continue just to play with the pause and the intensity that we've been playing with. Hey, there's no limit for this team right now.
Well, you played a terrific game, Antoine. Congratulations.
Merry Christmas, baby!
Okay, baby. Miami again falls to 9-5. New England has a bye. Then at Carolina, it's looking good for the Patriots. Can clinch a playoff berth tomorrow if Seattle or the Jets or the Ravens lose. Any one of the 3. Folks, we're back with you tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern time. Week 15 continues. The NFL today. Sanders Claus is coming to town. That's Dion. Followed by a big CBS Sports doubleheader early. Many of you will see Seattle against the Giants or Cincinnati. The Bengals out there at Baltimore. Other action. But then late, Cleveland against Green Bay up at Lambeau Field, or doubleheader game right here on CBS. Look forward to having you, though, 12 noon Eastern time tomorrow with the NFL Today. Thanks now for watching the Singular at the half. Vern and Billy back with the second half call between Kentucky and Indiana right after this.
Singular at the Half has been sponsored by Singular, the wireless company dedicated to helping you express yourself.
Halftime in Indianapolis, Kentucky with an 8-point lead. It once stood at 15, 40-25. 40-32 at the break. Coming January 15th on CBS, the creator of JAG brings you a new drama that dares to take you inside the Supreme Court. Joe Mantegna and James Garner star in First Monday. Don't miss the series premiere Tuesday, January 15th on CBS. Earlier this week, the University of Kentucky Wildcat basketball team and the coaching staff spent some time at the University of Kentucky Children's Hospital, signing autographs and chatting with the youngsters who are patients at the hospital, among them Tubby Smith. CBS Sports coverage of NCAA men's basketball will continue, and we will do so after this message and a word from your local station.
Sports coverage of the road to the Final Four is sponsored by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Knights of Columbus, in service to one, in service to all. And by Remington Microscreen 3 TCT Shaver, a totally close shave even on the tough spots.
Kentucky with an 8-point lead as we begin the second 20 minutes of play, and the ball will be inbounded by the Indiana Hoosiers. Kentucky losing Tuesday night, the overtime loss to Duke. Their only other loss of the season, a shocking season opener, when they lost to Western Kentucky. Come in 6-2. Now here's Jared Jeffries in the corner, again guarded by Tayshaun Prince. Offensive foul.
Boy, there's why Mike Davis didn't want to have him on the floor at the end of that first half. But what happens in the first 11 seconds of the second half? Jeffries picks up that foul, number 3. Tries to go baseline. Kentucky sitting back in a little bit of what looked like his zone there. There was no penetration from Indiana, so it was hard to tell.
Now Cliff Hawkins, who had the big first half, brings it across the midcourt line. Jules Kamara off the dribble. Turnaround jumper, short, rebound. Jeff Newton for Indiana.
Good block out against the shooter that time by Newton. Remember in the first half when Prince came across the lane. No, it is a man-to-man. But there was notice no movement without the ball with cutters, so it's hard to recognize what defense they're playing. They played man-to-man, and that's their primary defense. But when a cutter goes through, you can certainly recognize.
Dane Fife, Newton wasn't ready for it.
That was a play that worked out nicely for Indiana for the wrong reasons. Nobody expected the pass, and so consequently, Prince picks up a foul that he never anticipated his man having the ball.
Now, how about the decision that Mike Davis has got, Billy? He's going to keep Jared Jeffries on the floor with these 3 fouls.
Vern, I think that he has to. He's down 8 right now, and in that first half, when it got up to 15, I was kind of surprised he didn't come back with him. Showed a lot of patience right there, thinking his team could go back at a Kentucky team that at that point in time looked like it was going to pull away from this game.
Jeff Newton at the line, and he misses the first of 2.
And 2 of 2.
And badly. Tayshaun Prince with the rebound.
If you're Kentucky, might not be a bad idea to force Jeffries to play Prince hard in this next couple of possessions because he's got the 3 fouls. Pick up the 4th on him.
Prince sets the screen for Bogans in the lane, and Keith Bogans continues to struggle. Rebound, Jeff Newton. Hawkins on Coverdale. Presence made a difference. It's on the line. It'll be Kentucky's ball.
Great thinking by Hawkins. The pull up. He saw the pass was coming. He's a dangerous guy on both ends of the floor.
Substitution, Indiana.
See the field goal percentage for Indiana, 36%, and that only because they improved at the end. Coverdale will get a rest now. He's 0 for 5 in the game.
Nice turning in the corner. Kamara was not ready for the pass.
Dane Fife picks it up for Indiana. Now Kyle Hornsby back on the floor, replacing Coverdale, who is going to come right back. And there's the quick hands of Hawkins again.
Hawkins again. Recognize the play. He's having a terrific game.
Bogans.
Jeffries not even thinking. The most dangerous player is the man with the ball.
And an easy layup for Bogans because Newton backed away. And it's a 10-point margin yet again, first 2 minutes of the second half. Here's Hornsby.
Not going to get a good look with the long arms of Prince right in his face. See that inability to be able to break down your man off the dribble. There was a hold that time, but that's what is available because Kentucky is right in the face of the outside shooters.
That's the second foul on Gerald Fitch.
There is Hawkins, who came all the way from about the foul line to anticipate that lob pass to break it up. Bogans goes down the lane as nobody is there to pick up the dribbler.
Ball kicked by Cliff Hawkins. Coverdale back on the floor.
Get a reset on the clock on the kick. Nobody here to take the ball out of bounds. The official could have a problem.
And finally, Dane Fife gets over.
Nice piece of officiating there, realizing that the players weren't trying to delay the game at all.
Entry pass from Fife to Jeffries. The double team comes from Hawkins. The shot is short, and here's Bogans for Kentucky. Coverdale back to switch. Hornsby. Quick hands of Dane Fife, but it's saved and tipped. Now Jeffries picks it up. Here's Fife. Kamara is back. Nice adjustment in the air.
Remember in the first half, Vern, when the Indiana players were trying not to take it to the hoop, worried about the shot blocking. That time Fife recognized, even with Kamara, the good shot blocker, take it to the rim.
And Dane Fife with 8 points now for Indiana.
Career high was 20 against Alaska Anchorage.
That in the Great Alaska Shootout. And no basket. Let's watch Dane Fife on that last play.
Takes it right to the basket. As I said, Kamara is there, a good shot blocker, but he doesn't even try to go up and block the shot. Good job by Fife. Bogans now is starting to put the ball and use his strength on the inside. And his teammates are going to have to pick him up a little bit. He's in a slump, not shooting well from outside, getting some touches, some easy baskets to gain the confidence.
There is the deadly little jump hook from Tayshaun Prince.
Made a beauty like that against Duke the other night. Those long arms, he's got the nice soft touch on that lob.
Now Jeffries in the low post, over Prince, gets it for 2. And here comes Kentucky, 44-36, under 17 to go.
And let's see if Kentucky will go back to Jeffries again. Get that ball down in the air to Prince. Jeffries with the 3 fouls, can ill afford to pick up a cheap one here.
And he tried to draw the charging foul on Prince, but no call.
But if you're Kentucky, you want to keep milking that, Vern, because Jeffries can ill afford to pick up another foul. Prince tough enough to guard when you have a legitimate chance to go after him.
Tayshaun Prince in double figures
pump.
now. There's Jeffries, leans in, lets it go, and Kamara clears it for Kentucky.
The Kentucky players look tired to me.
They do.
They really
agree.
do. They have no legs in this game whatsoever. Now, that's not taking anything away from their abilities, but this is not a fresh team. There's
your evidence of it.
Yeah, not a fresh basketball team. So you wonder what that overtime game did at the Meadowlands. It took some legs out.
Time has been called.
Really good strategy in Kentucky's part here. Jeffries has got the 3 fouls on him. Prince, a tough man to guard. 2 times in a row, they went down to Prince in the low post, and he delivered. Jeffries has to be very, very careful. A good move by Kentucky. Of course, Prince, the SEC's Player of the Year last year. Preseason first-team All-American this year, and it'd be pretty tough to imagine him not being up there when the season's end as one of the premier players in the land.
On the short list, of course, for the John Wooden Award, Player of the Year at the end of the year. From the corner, Fife, no. And it's taken by Rashad Caruth, who's on the floor now with Hawkins, Prince, Kamara, and Bogans for Kentucky.
Notice how all the Kentucky players get that ball in Hawkins' hands. They really feel comfortable with him back there at that point guard position. Saul Smith last year occupying that position. Hawkins, as we pointed out earlier, had a problem health-wise. Good move again, going down low. Prince ought to get that ball right back into him.
Bogans instead in the lane. Here's Hawkins from the corner. 2 more. He's having a terrific game.
He is so quick defensively and offensively. Just bounded right off the floor. Remember that play he made in the first half where he dribbled down inside, kind of came to the bounce step, was able to go over 2 bigger men. Clever ball play.
And he's done a good job defensively on Coverdale, who has yet to score. Pumps and still can't end the streak.
Kamara getting down the court quickly for a big man. Good job.
There's Kamara. Double team comes from Coverdale. Prince, touch pass, and quickly over to Hawkins, who penetrates, kicks it outside to Bogans. Good ball movement here.
It really was. And good unselfish play by the Kentucky players not to take the shot when it wasn't quite what they wanted.
Now Jeffries stays on Prince.
Good crossover dribble, 5 seconds. Great job by Jeffries, considering the 3 fouls he's working under. But I like the strategy by Kentucky. I mean, Prince, he did a good job right here, but Jeffries stayed right with him. Nice defense.
Dane Fife, Jeffries, Coverdale, A.J. Moy, and Jared Odell on the floor for the Hoosiers. The spin move and the foul is going to be called on either Hawkins or Prince.
Hawkins trying to double up down inside. Good job by Jeffries to recognize, win opposite.
Well, NCAA basketball for you again next week. Rick Pitino goes back to Lexington with a Louisville Cardinal team that is playing quite well. You'll be there with Jim Nance. That might be fun.
Yeah, that will be quite a scene. Matter of fact, it'll be reminiscent for me. I can remember, seems like 100 years ago, back in 1983, when Louisville and Kentucky met for the first time in many, many years in the NCAA tournament. People thinking there was going to be all kinds of problems in the arena. Both fans recognized that the great traditions of the two programs and really handled themselves nicely. Great game that Louisville eventually won, went to the Final Four, and had that incredible game with Houston.
Louisville won that game against Kentucky in overtime. Well, that'll be some scene.
Hawkins again looking. They're doing a good job on Caruth, not letting him get any spot ups. And there's the time he shows us another part of his arsenal. Little half hook. Fife doing a nice job taking away his jump shot. Caruth accepted the challenge.
Back to a 12-point margin. Largest lead in the game was 15 late to moments of the first half. Indiana did carve that lead down to 8 at the break. And Coverdale still 0 for.
You know, Vern, I'm watching Coverdale take the shot. As soon as he releases it, his eyes are watching the flight of the ball. And that's throwing his back backwards instead of going right to the target and really throwing him off. I haven't seen many great shooters that will follow the flight of the ball upon release that get the hot hand.
Adam Childs comes on the floor now for Kentucky. Coverdale
dejectedly goes to that bench.
Yeah, been a discouraging day for Tom Coverdale. Second leading scorer for the Hoosiers this year.
Talking about a guy that led the state of Indiana in high school scoring, so you know that he can shoot. Foul on the inside away from the ball.
And the foul called on Jules Kamara. Tom Coverdale looks on 0 for 7.
Wow, and Tubby gives Jules the stare down on that one. Estel back in this game. Tubby rotating his big man.
That's Marquise Estel, number 50, and a 12-point Kentucky lead. Fife into the corner. And Jeffries, who misfires from short range, and Bogans.
Foul on the push.
And we're going to get a technical foul, I think, on Jared Odell.
Yeah, there was the push on Bogans, and then Odell, and he's denying it, but boy, the referee was right there on top of it, saying he kicked Bogans. We'll see it right here. We'll see the push. Nice job by Bogans trying to stay there. He goes down. Now let's see. Bam, huh? Well, now all the fans see it. Remember the Christian Leitner? You were there.
Do I ever remember?
Well, I think this one was. Huh? What would you say?
I think it was
very
deliberate.
similar, right?
Yes,
yeah.
it was.
Oh, absolutely. There's got to be a technical on that.
No doubt about it.
There's no question about it.
There's the step, the plant, the kick.
Foul.
Looked like Leitner, except Leitner on Timberlake in 1992 was right in the middle of his breadbasket.
Yeah, and no question that is a good call by the official. Prince goes to that foul line, shooting 82.4% on the year. Comes up really short on that one.
Boy, he does look tired.
And you got to have a feeling that, and this happens a lot, particularly with younger players, the emotion, as much as the physical wear and tear of the Duke game, really drains a young team. They've got to learn how to do that. That's why the experienced player knows how to overcome that. This Kentucky team right today looks like they're a very tired club. Bogan smiling.
Into the hands of Childs, number 22, guarded by Perry. Freshman and freshman jumper. Yes.
Wow, what a big shot. I don't know of any coach in the country that shows the confidence in his bench the way Tubby does.
Well, 10 players on this Kentucky team averaging 12 minutes or more, and Childs is not one of them.
No. Foul away from the ball. Here's Childs taking the shot. Let's talk about not even knowing if you're going to get in this game, having the confidence of your coach to say, I'm going to put up a 3. Big shot.
Largest lead of the game at 16. Here's Odell in the lane. Got it.
Odell having a solid game out there with the exception of that field goal that he tried to kick a few minutes ago.
9 points for Jared Odell, the senior. Now Bogans. Tayshaun Prince.
Goes with the right hand. Nice job by Jeffries. He is doing a terrific job considering the foul problems he's got.
Five from Jeffries. And Jeffries, nice ball, controlling the ball.
Terrific rebound because he was in one of those situations where you might have a tendency to push from behind.
Jeffries with a great job of controlling the ball, then getting it, and it results in Indiana points.
I don't know what he's doing there. He almost picks up a cheap foul on the press.
Our coverage of NCAA men's basketball will continue after this message and a word from your local station. Tomorrow on the CBS Sunday Movie, a man and woman who thought they'd never love again until fate brought them together. James Garner and Julie Andrews star in the heartwarming holiday romance, One Special Night. That is the Sunday Movie on CBS. Well, they sold a few fewer tickets than we thought. The announced crowd at just under 30,000 tonight, 29,000 plus, but evenly divided, as you can see, red and blue.
Vern, I was in here, the all-time record in this arena when Bob Knight had his 1984 Olympic team go up against a group of NBA players involving Larry Bird, among others. It was a magic day here. Knight's team beat all the NBA squads through that run to the eventual gold medal in Los Angeles. But in this particular game, he was about as focused as I've ever seen. Pete Newell said to me, I don't want to be around him today.
There's the double team from Childs. Kick back outside to Perry. Offensive foul on Perry.
You know, talking about Knight, I saw a piece today on ESPN that they were doing where he had great response in regard to a man that all of us miss and love and lost today.
Dick Schaap. We'll be right back.
Timeout.
Well, there's some things that make college basketball very, very special. If you like bands, you got to come to an NCAA game. And if you like flags, it's a pretty good idea, too.
Well, I like the gesture of sportsmanship out there, too, because at first I thought it was going to be a little bit of a battle. But they came out well-planned, beautifully done, and both schools very proud of their incredible traditions here in basketball.
I saw one guy carrying a flag out there who looked like he went to college about the same time you and I did. I admire him.
He was in pretty good shape, though.
Yeah, he was. 54-42 out of the break, 10:50 to go in the ball game. Gerald Fitch back on the floor, as is Cliff Hawkins. Childs gave him a rest. And here's Hawkins with the ball.
Childs did a nice job in those minutes, too, Vern. Didn't see any fall off.
Here's Estel.
Good rotation of the ball. Prince didn't get himself ready for the catch inside. Nice defensive sequence by Indiana.
It was, in particular, Hornsby, but there's the offensive board. It is out of bounds. Bogans, and Indiana will get it.
That was the best defensive sequence of the game for Indiana. Down 12. They have to have a lot of those.
Now they need to score.
Yeah, and that is a real problem for this team. When they don't shoot from the outside, basically the only scoring punch they've got is Jeffries, and he had the 3 fouls on him, but solid player.
There's Jeffries guarded by Estel. Takes it to the free throw line. Nice pass underneath. The foul on Estel is going to send Odell to the line. That's 3 fouls on Marquise Estel. Now, Billy mentioned before we went to the break, we lost one of our great colleagues yesterday. Some men are taken way too soon, and that was Dick Schaap. Died yesterday. Complications from hip replacement surgery. Dick, 67 years of age. I think, Billy, as versatile a journalist as we have ever seen. He excelled in both print and broadcast.
Yeah, I don't know any people ever talked about him negatively either. I mean, he called the shots the way he saw them, but still from a standpoint of his honest approach. And I mentioned that piece that included Bob Knight today. People might have seen a side of Bob Knight you don't see often. True, genuine respect for a man that he thought an awful lot of.
To give you an idea of Dick's versatility, he said once, I think I'm the only guy who votes for a Tony
And the Heisman.
and the Heisman.
And there was a nice piece by Jim Brown in there, too, talking about how Dick stopped voting on the Heisman when he didn't feel that Jim Brown got his just due. Quite a man.
Entry pass Bogans to Marvin Stone. Back to Bogans, who had Fife in his way. The follow is not there. Perry for Indiana.
Well, you got to give Indiana some credit right here. They're playing against a superior team athletically, but they are really hustling now, and Kentucky is going to have to take on this challenge.
Odell takes it, but Estel was there.
Into the fight.
And that one's going to be out of bounds. Was not touched by Bogans. Ted Hillary had his eye on the ball the whole way and made the call.
Bogans is worrying about the last play when he said he was fouled down the other way. Fife right in his face. Bogans, a very frustrated player offensively. The last thing he should be worrying about is did he get fouled on a play that took place a little while ago.
Hawkins missed the layup, and the rebound is not there. Here's Odell, too strong.
Got to think about what you're doing, Perry, the freshman. Throw the ball down to Hornsby on the side, make the easy play.
Coverdale is going to come on for Hornsby.
If Indiana is going to make a comeback, Coverdale has got to hit some quick shots. He hadn't been able to hit anything today, and if you're Kentucky, get the ball in Hawkins' hands and get them back into their offense.
Cats have missed their last 6. Here's Bogans in the lane. Make it 7.
Good block by Jeffries. One thing Bogans is doing a good job taking the ball to the basket.
Now Fitch will inbounds. Here's Prince. Jeffries still plays with 3 fouls. Bogans, no call. Basket good.
Good job by Bogans. He wants a piece of Fife. Fife thought he had the charge on the play. Pretty good no call.
Bogans now 4 of 11 for his 8 points. And it's back to a 13-point margin.
And one of the things for Coverdale will try to get off, he's being guarded by Fitch, who's a real good defender.
Jeffries. Stone was there defensively. The ball missed, and here comes Hawkins for Kentucky. They still look tired.
Oh, they are. There is real no zip on anybody's step today for Kentucky.
Prince got the roll. Prince with 13. The lead is 15, and the timeout is called by the Hoosiers of Indiana. 58-43. With the conclusion of today's game, we'll select the Chevy Most Valuable Player of the Game from each team. Chevrolet will make a contribution to each school's General Scholarship Fund, that a tradition for over a quarter of a century. Well, here's the most valuable fan for Kentucky, Bob Wiggins.
Unbelievable.
Today, his 1,200th UK game. He had a streak of 615 consecutive games, halted when he had a heart attack in 1996. He's back with 185 more. He's not missed a home game since 1961. He gets pretty good seats, home or on the road. Bob Wiggins. That's something.
Pretty strong.
58-43, an 8-point game at the half, 29,000 plus on hand in Indianapolis as Kentucky and Indiana battle in a series that was first contested in 1924.
Verma, you're trying to tell me on those stats that you're not impressed with Michigan State's 53 straight at home after the guy's got 600 straight?
That's right. And there's a problem with the clock of some sort. It shows 7:58 to go. While we're wishing people well, Chick Hearn, who had a streak of 3,338 consecutive broadcasts. That's just amazing. 85 years of age. And Chick, the longtime voice in Los Angeles, heart surgery earlier this week, and best wishes go to him in his recovery.
Well, another high point for a guy that's been around. Lefty Drizel passed Coach Iba. Lefty finds himself in the finals in the town of Charlotte that he loves so well because of what he did at Davidson. Hard to believe now he's got 768 wins, the very first win he ever had. You know who played in the game?
No, I don't.
I did.
Did you really?
Yeah, he beat us.
Did you really?
Yes,
At Wake Forest?
Yes, sir. His first game ever as a college coach was at Davidson.
There's a great footnote.
How about that one?
I like that. we had one, that'd be a pretty good Aflac trivia question.
CBS Sports coverage of the road to the Final Four is sponsored by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. The Intel Pentium 4 processor, the center of your digital world. And by new Pepsi Twist, Pepsi and Diet Pepsi with a twist of lemon.
Welcome back to Indianapolis. 58-43, Kentucky leading by 15. And Indiana hitting 34% so far in the game. Go back to
what's that number mean, huh?
Yeah. Isn't that a number that you said would be significant?
Yeah, you take 34%, and that means a loss for Indiana, particularly playing against a team like Kentucky that is a superior team in talent and in depth.
A 15-point lead, 7:45 to go in this one.
Little zone trapping. Hawkins picks it up very nicely.
Back to Prince.
Prince not showing any ill effects, Vern, from that back problem he looked like he had. Here's Indiana playing a little zone defense now, a 2-3. Well recognized by, good job by Kentucky. Hawkins, a hard guy to play that zone because he's not afraid to penetrate with the dribble inside the zone.
Prince with 15, and the lead is 17. Here's George Leach, number 5, guarded by Stone. Again, the shot not there.
Good catch by Bogans. Nice block by Leach.
Out it goes to Coverdale. Coverdale 0 for 7 so far in the ball game, and a foul is called on Cliff Hawkins.
Here we see what I'm talking about. Hawkins recognizes right away that Indiana goes to the zone defense, puts it right on the floor, penetrates between two. Consequently, there are 3 men playing 1, leaves somebody open. Hawkins hits Prince. Perfectly executed.
Substitution for Kentucky as Coverdale goes to the line. Bogans is going to get a rest, and Rashad Caruth comes on.
Bogan's going to have a problem right now with Tubby Smith. You don't ever go by Tubby and give him any mouth. He'll be sitting on that bench for a while, getting very frustrated. And one of the things that will frustrate a player more than anything is a guy that has great expectation, not getting the job done and thinking it's somebody else's problems. Bogan's just going to have to go back to work. And I guarantee you he won't get any help whatsoever in thinking that he's going to start working Tubby with the mouth.
Yeah, and then he had a couple of things to say to assistant coach David Hobbs as he took his seat. That tip no good from Stone. Jeff Newton from Indiana.
Hawkins right back.
Baseline drive, A.J. Moy, no. Ball on the floor. Look at Moy dive for it. Good hustle play.
And I don't know what Stones was doing unless he's hurt. He just laid on the floor and allowed all that activity to take place. Tubby cannot be happy with the effort of his team today.
Time has been called by Indiana. Keith Bogans went to the bench with 6:45 remaining in the game. Had a couple of words, and now he's got a head coach in his face.
And I'll tell you what, I've been to a lot of Tubby Smith practices, and he does not stand for any mouthing on behalf of his players. He is a very honest and very equal coach, no matter whether you're the star of the team or whether you're supposedly the last guy on that bench.
Now Bogans for the day, 4 of 12 from the field.
Now Kentucky back in a zone of their own.
Jeffries gets it out to Newton, over to Coverdale. Jeff Newton from way outside, and chased down by A.J. Moy.
Second good offensive rebound by Moy.
6 minutes to go. Coverdale, wild shot.
Good hands by Hawkins.
Hawkins 3 on 2, brings it back outside.
Got plenty of clock to work with right here. There's the push by Coverdale.
Personal foul, Indiana, number 3, Tom Coverdale.
Coverdale thought he was fouled down on the inside, but in a game like this, you got to just go ahead and play. He's going to sit back down.
Our CBS Sportsline stat of the game, shooting percentage, Indiana now down to 32%. Kentucky near 50. Get complete game stats at cbs.sportsline.com or America Online, keyword CBS Sportsline.
Bogan's back in the game,
yes.
And this is going to be very interesting. Bogan's on the year came into this game shooting 29% from 3, and he takes a lot of threes. And you can see how frustrated he is. The outside shot not going down. Today he's tried to put the ball down on the floor and power inside, but he's getting frustrated that he's not in a dominant position.
Hawkins gets both, and it's a 17-point lead. Hawkins with 15 points.
Kentucky just showed the zone one time coming out.
There's Bogans defensively on the floor, and hit last by Bogans. It'll be Indiana ball.
No foul, but I'll tell you, you start hustling like that and you stay out on the floor.
Hit last by Newton. 5:40 to go, 62-45. Freshman Donald Perry.
Trying to challenge Hawkins in the first half, using better judgment now.
Stone. Marvin Stone defensively. 5:15 remaining. Fitch had a very quiet day. Tries to get it to Prince, chased down by Stone. And Hornsby with the steal. Bogans gets back defensively. Hornsby, good move.
Stone tried to have one dribble too many down on the other end. Made a nice pickup and tried to make the play, and it wasn't there.
Time called. 30-second timeout taken by the Wildcats of Kentucky. 4:46 remaining in this one. Kentucky leads by 15. Kentucky up by 15, and Cliff Hawkins has been one of the themes of this game.
He really has on both ends of the floor. There you see when he was challenged in the first half. Excellent pass. He's been doing it with the dribble. Keeps that head up. Keeps his teammates involved in the game. Made shots where they've been available. He's a good leader on this squad.
And drives.
There he goes again.
Beautifully.
And what we have right here is just a superior team. Kentucky is by far the superior team against Indiana. When they keep the ball in Hawkins' hands, there's nobody in Indiana quick enough to guard him out there, and then everything breaks down.
What might they have learned about themselves in the loss today?
Well, you know, I got a different feel from Tubby than what seems to be obvious from the players. I think the players felt they should have won the game and consequently took it as a positive. I think Tubby wants these guys to say, hey, yeah, sure, you could have won the game, but you didn't. So it's not a positive. Got to go back to work, and it looks like they worked awful hard, and their legs aren't there today. But they're still too superior to Indiana to have too much trouble with Indiana in this game.
There's a loose ball picked up by Tayshaun Prince after the miss, and the lead 66-49. Tayshaun Prince was 17, nearing his per-game average of 18.5. There's Jared Jeffries.
You see the double team coming down on Hawkins. He is really tired out there right now.
Donald Perry with the miss for Indiana.
Prince tired. Look at how they're walking down the floor. They've got themselves a 17-point lead, and they're just exhausted. Prince just saying, throw the ball back out here and let's let this time wind down.
They will have the Christmas break. They play next at home against Louisville. Tubby Smith, by the way, he and Donna, his wife, have an interesting plan for Christmas Eve.
Yeah, how about Christmas Eve? They're going down to see Saul play. He's playing in that new developmental league. And Tubby was kind of interesting. He said he sent home $2,800 the other day. He said, man, he's making a big payroll, $30,000. So they're going down to see him play.
In Columbus, Georgia on Christmas Eve.
Well, a great family situation there. That Gigi who played for him is now over there working with him. And another son to come who probably gets an opportunity to play some college basketball.
3 minutes to go in this one, 66-49. And those dressed in red are heading for the exits. Little jump hook, Perry. He can't hit it either.
Well, Indiana, as we pointed out at the top of the show, in order to stay in the game with the likes of a Kentucky, they have to shoot well. And that'll be true as they get into Big Ten competition. When's the last time you heard of a team of a name like Indiana playing their first 6 games on the road?
No.
That didn't help them any getting started here.
No. And a couple of those road trips were up at Anchorage, Alaska, which is a pretty good haul.
Looks like Tubby may recognize that these guys are tired. Hawkins, the one, just keeps right on going. He's like the Energizer here today.
Dane Fife, Bogans, and Bogans is going to get called for the foul.
I'll tell you, Bogans and Fife been doing a lot of mouthing out here, and I think that was a little challenge by Fife to say, I'm taking it right at you. There's Hawkins going to get a chance to sit down, and Tubby with a smile on his face there, realizing how hard he has played.
Cliff Hawkins, beautiful game.
Fife down, I think he's going to be all right.
The personal foul was Kentucky number 10 to Bogans.
Foul on Bogans. Sunday, if you're on a nostalgia kick, so is 60 Minutes, and no one has more of it or does it better than they do. Starting this Sunday with Muhammad Ali.
Now, how about Fife? The guy is a starting guard. Prior to that foul, was 1 for 5 on the year, showing that he doesn't go to the hoop that much, but shooting 20%. As a guard with good technique, hard to figure.
Well, that really is extraordinarily low. 66-50, 2:11 to go in this one. Here's the Saturday night lineup on CBS. We'll begin with Touched by an Angel and 2 back-to-back episodes of Saturday's #1 drama, The District. That's the lineup tonight on CBS. 2:11 remaining in this one. Indiana's going to fall to 6-4. Kentucky will improve its record to 7-2. The Wildcats with Prince and Hawkins 34 points and they lead by 16.
Kind of an easy 16.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you just if you didn't look up the score, you'd say, well, it seems like it's more than 16. They are a far superior team.
Wildcats led by 8 at the half, and they have been in control in the second half.
And that may be why it's only 16. When they had it at 15, they should have put this game away.
That was about 2 minutes remaining in the first half when it was 15, and Indiana did shave 7 off that to trail by 8. Bogans takes it to the lane, and now we'll go to the free throw line. The Chevrolet most valuable players of the game tonight. On the left, Cliff Hawkins, 17 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. And for Indiana, Jared Jeffries with a double-double, 10 points, 10 rebounds, and 1 assist. Chevy will make a contribution to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need.
And Vernon, fairness to Jeffries with the 10 points. Had those outside shots fallen for Indiana, there wouldn't have been the ability for Kentucky to plug back down inside with the double teams on Jeffries. He'd have had a much more open look down inside, posting up against the likes of Prince. But when you don't shoot from the outside, everybody packs down inside, makes it really tough for him.
Indiana's perimeter shooting tonight has been terrible.
There's an example.
Yep.
He's being guarded by Prince from behind. He makes a nice move, but Kamara doesn't have to worry about anything, so he just comes over to help out. So he's been facing double teams from the outside as well as weak side.
Here's Childs.
Childs gave some pretty good minutes in that little run he had spelling Hawkins earlier here in the second half.
Ryan Tapak is on the floor, number 34 for Indiana. There's Fife. Under a minute remaining. Dane Fife off the mark on that one.
Really a tough shot.
Indiana will control. Interesting week coming up now for the Hoosiers, Bill. They're going to be in the Conseco Fieldhouse for a classic that they've had for years. They face Eastern Washington in the first game, but the nightcap on the 28th, Butler against Samford. You think Butler's going to win that?
Undefeated team is Butler, and with a very impressive win over Ball State, a team that got obviously a lot of great recognition and out in Hawaii. But they are one of the remaining undefeated teams.
Butler 11-0, and Indiana has never lost a game in what they call the Ameritech Classic here in Indianapolis. That's coming up next week, the 28th and 29th.
Bogans would love to take Fife one last time in this game.
Prince backs up, launches it off the front rim. It's a weary athlete, number 21. George Leach. And this one is in the books.
That may go.
It's good if it goes.
That was as close as any jump shots that they took.
That's for sure. Tubby Smith, Mike Davis, and the Wildcats 66-52.
Great scene over there. Odell went over and patted him on the back to say, hey, I didn't really mean what happened there earlier today. Nice piece of sportsmanship.
Again, the lineup tonight on CBS. We'll begin with Touched by an Angel and then back-to-back episodes of Saturday's #1 drama, The District, starring Craig T. Nelson. That's the lineup tonight on CBS. Final score, Kentucky wins it by 14. They put 66 on the board. Indiana could counter with only 52. Cliff Hawkins led the way as the Cats go to 7-2. For Billy Packer, I'm Vern Lundquist saying goodbye from Indianapolis, Indiana.